Netflix is back with another book-to-TV series adaptation to blow your minds. And while this is not exactly uncharted territory for Netflix, it still has fans all over the world excited. Here's what we know about Firefly Lane so far. Let's get into it. Release date. Netflix has a habit of coming out with novel and book adaptations that leave us in awe. TV shows and movies like Bridgerton, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, All the Bright Places, etc. remind us why the streaming service is so globally popular. And now they've decided to adapt the award-winning and best-selling novel Firefly Lane by author Kristin Hannah. The show is set to release February 3rd of 2021, and there's so many things to talk about. The show is based on the best-selling book of the same name by Kristin Hannah, and it follows two female protagonists, Tully and Kate, through their 30 years of friendship. This isn't author Katie Hannah's first best-selling novel, though. Hannah has titles like Winter Garden, The Nightingale, and The Great Alone under her name. All about the book. The novel was originally released in 2003, but it's been released with the Netflix logo recently and has won countless awards. Not to mention it was a New York Times bestseller. We recommend giving it a thorough read before the show drops. The book is the first of a two-part series, Firefly Lane and Fly Away, which means it's very likely that we might get a season 2 if the first season does well. The book is not set in the present day, but has time jumps. The first time setting we'll see our protagonists in, though, will be the 1970s, when Tully and Kate will meet. This will then extend to 10 episodes that span over 3 decades in a coming-of-age story. It mainly focuses on Kate Malarkey and Tully Hart and their relationship from inception to today. And you can be sure it'll focus on all the trials of friendship, including but not limited to fallouts, makeups, mutual jealousy, and love. Production and other details. The production studio that decided to work on the show is the same one behind the hits Descendants for the Disney Channel and The Good Doctor for ABC Bright Light Pictures. Maggie Friedman serves as the showrunner for the series and has multiple hits under her belt, like Eastwick for ABC, Witches of East End for Lifetime, and most recently No Tomorrow for the CW. Katherine Heigl, who also stars as Tully in the show, is also an executive producer on the show along with Peter O'Fallon, Sean Williamson, and Lee Rose. The production for the series started in October of 2019. It should be noted that the series is a strict adaptation of Hannah's novel and will in no way try to overwrite the events of the book. In fact, this is not even Kristin Hannah's first novel to be adapted into a movie or TV show of some kind. Her books The Nightingale and The Great Alone are both in production at Sony's TriStar Pictures, with Michelle MacLaren set to direct The Nightingale. Filming details. The show obviously takes place in the fictional town of Firefly Lane, but the filming of the show was done in Vancouver, Canada at the Ironworks studio, and supposedly at Nelson and Homer, which is also in Vancouver. Casting. Who's part of the show? Over the span of 2019, we saw the cast grow with big names and relatively newer ones as well. Since the show has time jumps, there will be multiple actors playing the same character. For example, for the character of Tully Hart, London Robertson will play Tully in the 1970s, Ali Scovby in the 1980s, and of course Katherine Heigl as the eldest. Similarly, for Kate Malarkey, Sarah Chalke was cast as the eldest version, with Rowan Curtis as the younger version. Other confirmed cast members are Beau Garrett, Ali Scovby, Yael Yerman, John Ecker, and Brandon Jay. In late October 2019, Once Upon a Time star Quinn Lord was announced to be starring in the series playing the role of young Sean. Older Sean will be played by Jason McKinnon. In November 2019, it was announced that Chella Horsdal would be joining the cast, and in January 2020, it was revealed that John Michael Ecker will be playing the role of Max Brody. Jenna Rosenow and Martin Donovan joined the cast earlier the same year. Katherine Heigl, known most famously from Suits and Grey's Anatomy, will play Tully, the ambitious but reckless woman who overcame a traumatic childhood to become a famous journalist and talk show host. Sarah Chalke, on the other hand, best known for her work in Scrubs and How I Met Your Mother, plays Kate, a nerdy loner who finds herself drawn to Tully from a young age. According to the Netflix description, the show is based on the New York Times best-selling book Firefly Lane, is the sweeping story of two inseparable best friends and their enduring, complicated bond spanning 4 tumultuous decades. Plot details. Here's everything you need to know about the plot. The story begins when Tully, the new girl in Firefly Lane, moves into the house next to Kate's in 8th grade in the year 1974. Kate, who's a shy, introverted girl, somehow strikes up a friendship with Tully, who ends up becoming one of the most popular girls at the school. It comes as quite a surprise to forever uncool Kate when Tully seems to truly want to be friends with her. In the end, they become known as Tully and Kate more often than Tully and Kate, due to the close nature of their friendship. Spending their teens in the 1970s, their 20s in the 1980s, and their 30s in the 1990s, Tully and Kate figure out life together and apart. We find out that Kate's always been jealous of Tully's ability to make friends and be good at everything she tries. This is cemented when we hear Kate tell Tully, "You don't know what it's like to fail. You succeed at everything you try. And it's like this is your life and I'm just along for the ride." When the girls meet in the small town in the Pacific Northwest, Tully desires a life full of adventures. Her need to prove herself to others and herself stems from being abandoned by her mother at a young age, something we'll probably see Tully struggle a lot with during the course of the show. Tully believes she's destined for greatness, and she does get her adventures, quite literally when she becomes a famous international journalist who travels the globe. She eventually ends up in New York City, where she finds not only the fame and recognition she always craved, but also extreme loneliness. And she tries to numb her loneliness away by engaging in numerous dead-end relationships. We see her desiring what Kate has already achieved when she says, "Your family, that's the real accomplishment. I'll never have that. I was too scared to even try," in the Firefly Lane trailer. Kate, on the other hand, who's always been content letting Tully have all the attention in hopes of avoiding it, finds herself wanting a family. She believes the greatest thing she could be destined for is a fulfilled family life. She desires love and children and domestic bliss, and she gets that. Kate, despite all this, finds herself envious of Tully's freedom and busy schedules when her stifled ambitions return. While both women achieved what they always desired, they're plagued by feelings of incompleteness and inadequacy, at least until tragedy struck. Without mentioning spoilers, the two women will finally part ways after a betrayal, and whether we'll get a definitive reconciliation is not yet confirmed. From the trailer, we can guess Tully will betray Kate by seducing the man Kate liked. As we mentioned before, the show will explore relationships and feelings of insecurity, all while providing the viewers with deep feelings of comfort. Potential Season 2? If the show does end up going for a Season 2 and uses the sequel Fly Away by Kristin Hannah, we definitely know that it will focus solely on Tully. After leaving her whole life behind intentionally, she'll find herself back on Firefly Lane. This will be a story of healing for Tully as she tries to heal and move on from her tragic past that has plagued her entire life. At the center of this is Tully's mother, Dorothy Hart, who abandoned Tully, then came back years later to pick up the pieces of their broken relationship. Fly Away is a story of love, loss, and new beginnings that makes you appreciate Firefly Lane on a whole new level. We can't wait to see how the second season will be a sequel adaptation. With such a strong cast, a bestseller novel to adapt from, and what seems to be stunning cinematography, we're excited to see the show when it drops. Are you? And now that you know all you'll need to know in order to be prepared for Firefly Lane, let us know your thoughts on the trailer down in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!